All right. So for the first question, we are here talking about the difference between anyataro and anyo. So anyataro means some, a certain. Anyo means different. We need to distinguish that. You can have anyataro so without anything else. No need to compare to anything. But anyo specifically compares this subject to something or to someone else. Okay. So in this case must be anyataro because it's a man. Then we get the different man. Atava or para. Para is fine, but we do not really use that for then in this case. Para means like later, but it's not really used. It's more common to use atava. Anyatara iti upayampe odanam apachi. Okay. So why this one and not that one? Because it is atava and not para. Two girls went to the forest. Dve kanyayo atavenkaching. So that's actually the same thing. But then we have difference. Aparaya or pubbai. So pubba means before. So the sun first comes from the east. So that's why you can remember pubba means east, because pubba also means before. Apara means later. The sun later comes to the west. So apara is west, pubba is the east. And here we are talking about the west, therefore it is apara. Okay. And is it itara or anya? So it seems from the vocabulary we get in the book that for for speaking about a second person out of two, we always use itara. So if you have two and you mentioned about them, then to speak about the second one of the couple, you need to use the word itara. So only the option is right. So navico or navaco. Navaco actually is not a word, but we had this word navica in the lecture for explanation of how do you combine the suffixes. So nava, ika. Nava plus ika becomes navika. So cannot be navaka. So navico, and then is it, where's the difference? Anya, nava. Apariya or aparaya, I see. So you have apara, and because that's the way how it's declined, it must be aparaya and not apariya. Apariya would be wrong. The former king gave wealth. We get a similar question two times here, but there are slight differences. Pubbo bhupati. Paro means next. Pubbo means the first one, the previous one. So pubbo bhupati, dhanang adati, and now again paro or pubbo. So because it's the other, so here we have to use here we select paro rather than pubbo. And deti or desi. Now, because we have present tense, it must be deti. Desi would be past tense. He gave. These girls went to that forest. Ima or ime. Ima must be for Yeah, for feminine. If it is masculine, you would use ime. So because the ladies are feminine, it's ima kanyayo. Um, so a tiger came from that direction. That will be taya, from that. Imaya would be from this. So we must choose this one. So here we can see it's really navika, ta or te. Now, because nava is a feminine, we need to use ta. If nava was a masculine, then we would use te. But nava is a feminine, and therefore we need to use the appropriate pronoun. So is it ime or ima sangdipana? So it seems that in this particular case, we need to use the locative. Ime dipe. Oh, no, because actually it's not locative. This is in fact accusative for, uh, for, yeah, this is accusative for the plural. That's also because dipo is the declination, the ground, the how do you call it? Noun group one. And because it is noun group one, then it is declined as dipe, as accusative in plural. And that's where the pronoun follows. Ime di. That king give wealth, those kings give suffering. So we already had a question like that here. However, we have slight differences. So is it or tang? Tang would be for accusative. But here you see we have a nominative. We explain what the king is, not who relates to the king. No, we don't do that. So because we have him in the nominative, it must be so. So bhupati, danang adadi, te or tayo. Tayo would be for ladies. And so we have te for gentlemen. Te bhupatayo dukkang dente. With these evil deeds. So ehi, ebhi, imehi, imebi actually is all the same thing. There are four variations. So no problem. All of these four are actually correct. And so we have to search for mistakes somewhere else. So we get a difference here. That sama or das sama. Das sama means we see. That sama means we will give. And then katamena or katamaya. So katamaya would be for feminine, but punya is not feminine. Punya is neuter. And for neuter, we need to use katamena. Give him this chair, he will sit. Dehi tassa or dehi tang. Now, because it is for who, then we need to use tassa. Okay? Dehi tang would be give. Uh, uh, so, for example, here you can see dehi pitang. So dehi pitang. Pitang is the accusative here. You give what? So uh, you give the chair. So with dehi, you need to use accusative. And then for who do you give this thing? You give it for him. So that's why it's a little difficult here, but you need to use accusative for the thing you give, and you need to use the dative. Actually, dative is coming from dat, and dat means giving. Data means giving. It's similar also to Pali language, but this one is coming from Latin. So we need to use dative for the person who receives the gift, and accusative for the gift. Imang pitang, you see? You need to use accusative for that. Son sate or to, we did not have that word at all. So this should be easy. Manche or manchaya. So because it is mancha as the noun group 2, then you need to use manche for the locative. Manchaya would be if it was a feminine, but that's not the case. Who will cook food for them if not the grandson of those ladies' sisters? Dasang or dasanang? So dasanang we don't use here, so we use dasang. Actually, dasanang is also correct, right? Both of them should be correct. Dasang, dasanang. And therefore we search mistakes somewhere else. Nattare hivina. Let's see, where's the difference? I see nattarehi or nattarana. I don't see difference between these two though. Nattarehi or nattaranang vina. So vina is always coming with ablative, so it must be nattare. You need to memorize how are these, I think, conjunctions bound to the nouns. So this particular word vina is bound to a noun with ablative in ablative case. So is dasang and dasanang is the same, right? Or is it different?
I think the spelling is different with the second.
Oh, I see. Dasanang. Yes, thank you. I did not notice. So dasanang definitely doesn't work. Dasang, I see. So we have two that seem to be correct, but here we have the wrong case. Natarehi is the correct one. Natarang is wrong. Very well. Thank you very much. Problem resolved. Any questions? Any concerns?
No, no for me.
So far, everything's clear. So next week, we do not have any test. Next week, we would like to distribute to you certificates. So we will be putting together the results, and then we will make the chart just like we did after the first 10th lesson. After A10, this was B10. And then after 2 weeks from now, we hope to start with exercise 18 from our book. So we may be able to come very far. Let's see if that exercise, if that lesson is easy. If it is easy, we could do maybe 2 exercises per week so that we finish the book within the next 10 weeks. Or we also could do another thing, and that is we go exercise one by one, but we would not have a repetition. There would not be a review. So we would go 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and the very last lesson would be 27 and 28. And that would be the finalizing of this course, of this volume. The book, however, has 3 volumes. So finishing the first volume doesn't really say much because we have yet to go through the second and third volume. And I think they are no less small. I think the third volume is maybe a little smaller, a little thinner, but they all provide very deep, very important information on how the words are formed, how the syntax of the sentence is happening, and a lot of other very important information. But I think the hardest portion of this course is behind us. I think there will be more declination, or it will be declination of like other things, like maybe numbers and things like that. Any questions, any concerns? No questions, everything's fine. Very well. So thank you everyone for coming. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana.
Thank you so much. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.